Alright guys, it is day 6 of our no spend month. I just kind of wrote down totals and things that we spent money on. I know it's a no spend month, but there are still necessities that we have to buy, and I just kind of jotted everything down. So tomorrow I will make a video and kind of explain what we've spent so far and all that stuff. So right now what I'm going to do is go through my deep freezes, and I kind of have an idea what's in here because I kind of have an inventory, but I'm just going to kind of go through because I bought a few more groceries, um, and write down and then kind of make some meals from there. Alright, going, like I said, through the Misty. I'm going through the freezers, and I'm just going to close up for now. Okay. I'm going through the freezers, and I just made a list of what was in my deep freezes. I save bread. Now, sometimes if we, not this month, but in previous months, if we bought like chili at Tim Hortons, they give you these buns, and I don't like them. They're just huge, and they usually rip the inside of my mouth open. I don't like them. I used to like the ones that they had, but these ones are nasty. Anyways, I don't throw them out. I put them in my freezer, and then when it comes time like this where I have enough to do a couple of pans, I will just lay them out. I could chop them, let them thaw a little bit, and chop them into pieces and make croutons with them. If we don't eat the ends of the bread, which I've started to, but if we don't, I'll throw them in the freezer. This is little pieces, like if I had subs and I cut the ends off, or hot dog buns, I think is a lot of this stuff that had just got freezer burnt. I'll just cut the ends off, keep the bread. I try to really not throw anything out. Here, I don't know what happened. There was 2 pieces of bread. Obviously, somebody must have thought that it was just the ends and put them in the freezer. So there's 2 pieces of bread that I could probably just put away and make sandwich with. It's not a big deal. So yeah, and this is a piece of sub that I don't know if it was just kind of, sometimes if I keep my bread in the fridge, it gets wet, soggy. So anyways, like I said, I don't throw any bread out. So I'm just going to put this on a baking sheet. I'm going to leave it thaw a little bit, leave it on the baking sheet. Then I'm going to put it in the oven. I'll probably put a little bit of oil on it, some seasoning, salt, pepper, whatever. Maybe do like some Italian seasoning type of thing, and then I will, once it is completely dried, it doesn't take very long, once it's completely dried out, I will put it in my food processor and give it a good blend, and boom, I will have breadcrumbs in the oven, or in the pantry I should say. But like I said, I could easily turn these into croutons to put on top of a salad, so I may do that with a couple of them, because I'm still not done going through the freezer. There might be a couple more bags in there. I also keep these little uh, pieces off my bread or wherever, like little bread ties. Um, this is just stuff I'm going to make salmon for supper, and there's sausages in here. When I come home, I'm going to make that. And I took out some chicken for my son to eat. So I'll quickly go through my inventory in my deep freeze. I still haven't, well, I'm going to go do my freezer to my fridge as well, and then I'll come back and show you what I got. Alright, so I did my inventory of the freezer, and this is what I have. I separated into meats, desserts, different meals that I already have made, vegetables, and then these were just little things that I couldn't really find a category for. So meats, there's at least 7 salmon, like pieces of salmon that I can make meals with. There's 1 bag of shrimp, there's a whole chicken, there's bologna, there's a hamburger flat, there's a thing of Salisbury steaks that I made. I put 1 meal, which would feed the 3 of us. There's 3 bags of clams. There's a kielbasa. There's fish sticks. There's chicken and barbecue sauce. I made that the other day. There was a little bit of leftovers, so I just put that in the freezer. There's the Walmart beef burgers, chicken breast, pork and gravy, and then there's a whole turkey. Desserts, there's a little cake. I had made up a box cake that I had in the pantry, and then I just froze them in individual little containers. with some icing on top. So, and then there's ice cream, there's the pumpkin bread, banana bread. I have lots of cookies. There's blueberry and cherry pie filling in there that I could use for something. Alright, so yeah, I just finished the desserts. Here are the different meals that I made that are in the freezer. There's three like bags of chili. There's a bag of pancakes, I didn't count them exactly. And then there's another big bag of French toast. There's 2 rice bakes, 7 containers of broth, 4 containers of tomato soup, 2 containers of spaghetti and meatballs. There's a bag of burritos, a bag of breakfast sandwiches. There's 4 things of spaghetti sauce and 1 small penne bake. There was kind of 2. I think there was 2. I might have made 1. And I just used the leftovers, and whatever was left, I put them in a little container and put them in the freezer. And then for vegetables, there's 1 big unopened bag of corn. There's about a quarter of another bag of corn in my fridge freezer. There's a flat of mashed potatoes because I don't throw anything out. If we have potatoes left, I'll put them in a sandwich bag and shove those flat like I do with my hamburger in the freezer, and they're good for shepherd's pies. I have a bag of chopped peppers, a bag of chopped tomatoes. There's 2 bags of peas. There's 3 bags of purple beans, 7+ bags of carrots in there. There's 1 small bag of cauliflower, 2 small things of broccoli. There's a big bag of tomatoes and sauce, basically like a spaghetti sauce minus all the spices and stuff. And then there's a thing of tortellinis, a bag of hash browns, and 2 loaves of bread. So I just went ahead and kind of started conducting some meals from that. So what I didn't write down like what we were gonna have with them per se, but there's at least 7 meals of salmon. There's at least 2 to 3 meals of shrimp for 1 person because I'm like the only one that eats it. There's 1 meal of Salisbury steaks for all of us. There's 2 meals of fish sticks. There's 1 meal of chicken in the barbecue sauce, and that was the chicken that I made the other day. There's 1 meal of pork and gravy. I had made a pork roast one night. We ate off of it for a while, and then there was a little bit left, so I just froze it in the gravy, and that'll be a meal for us one night with some mashed potatoes and carrots or something. There's at least 5 meals of like 1 burger each of the Walmart beef burgers. There's at least 7 meals of turkey. That in itself, I'm going to make a whole different video when I cook the turkey. I'm going to name it like how to stretch a turkey. We'll be eating whatever we can, different meals off of that. And then, but I'll get to that in a second. I can make 1 small, I put 1 small shepherd's pie because there's a flat of hamburger and then the flat of potatoes, and then all I gotta do is add a can of cream corn. Or if I don't have the cream corn in the pantry, I can just use a little bit of the fresh frozen corn that I have. So there's 1 meal of that. There's at least 4 meals of chicken because I have the whole chicken. I can get at least 4 meals out of that, plus a broth. So I should really say 5 plus, but there's bologna in the freezer. I'm going to turn some of it into hot dogs. I kept a couple of hot dog buns. I'm just going to cut them because it's pretty well the same thing as a hot dog anyways. Cut them into like hot dog shapes, and then I can fry them up and can eat them on a bun. I can make some bologna hash and some fried bologna with the bologna that's left. There might be other things that I'm able to make with them too, but there's 3 sides of clams because I don't eat, like, sometimes I'll just, instead of having like fries or something, I'll just make some clams, or sometimes I'll just eat the clams by themselves. But there's at least 3 little sides of clams. There's probably 2 meals of the kielbasa that's in there. There's 1 that's frozen. And then there's 13 chicken breasts, so I put at least 6 meals of chicken breast. Sometimes I might only need 1 for something, like if we're making, like, I don't know, for instance, club sandwiches. I'll only need to boil one chicken breast. Like, but this is just give or take that I use 2 pieces of chicken breast per meal. And then with the meals that I already have in the okay, that's that. I'll get to that in a second. There's like a I don't know, a thing of tortellini. I can make one meal out of that. Just pour some spaghetti sauce or something of the type over top. I'd say there's probably about 4. I put meals of hash browns, but that's like if I make breakfast one morning with hash browns and eggs and stuff like that. So that's where that comes in. And with the 2 loaves of bread, there's at least 16 sandwiches. Not all of it's going to be used for sandwiches. Obviously, we'll probably have some toast and stuff with that too, but that's just more or less like an idea. If we were going to use it for sandwiches, we could make at least 16 of them. And then with the meals that I already have in there, I could make at least 3 meals of chili, and there'll probably be some left over. Depends who eats it. Then there's 2 rice bakes in there. With the 7 containers of chicken broth, I can make 7 pots of chicken noodle soup, or chicken soup, or anything related with chicken. Like, I could use it for, for rice or whatever. There's tomato soup, so I can make 4 pots of the tomato soup. There's 2+ meals of spaghetti and meatballs, because the reason I put 2+ because I'm including like leftovers, because it's only Riley and I that can eat that, because it's not gluten free, that spaghetti. So if we make it one night, we can each have supper, and then I could probably send him with some for lunch the next day. Then there's 4 different meals that I can make with the spaghetti sauce. Again, I could use one of those with the tortellini up there, and that would make a meal. And then there's one of the penne bacon. Yeah. So that's just like a 1-person meal I should have put right there. And then there's lots of breakfast items. Like I said, there's all those French toast and all that stuff. So that is what I have. And then there's plenty of desserts. Like I said, there's at least 4 of the little cakes. There's a little bit of ice cream left. I want to get that finished up because it's starting to get freezer burned. We don't eat a lot of ice cream. So there's a ton of pumpkin bread, a ton of banana bread. That also could be used for breakfast. There's a ton of cookies that I just made up and froze into balls, and whenever we want some fresh cookies, I just pull those out and bake them. And then if I want some blueberry or cherry pie filling for something, I can pull that out as well. So like if I wanted some blueberry or cherry pie filling on my ice cream or something, that's what that could be for. I'm not purchasing anything, so I didn't count up how many meals. I'm going to go count up roughly how many meals I can make with all this stuff. Alright, so there is at least 74 meals, and then the 16 sandwiches. I didn't include that as a meal, but it could be. Could be a lunch or whatever, but there's 74 solid meals that I can make with just all the stuff that I have in my freezer. That's not including, there is plenty of rice in the pantry, there's cans of soup, there's all kinds of stuff. So that was one of the reasons that I wanted to do this No Spend November, because I want to use up what I have in the freezer. Over here, I just this is an old calendar thing that I had here. I was just jotting some stuff down earlier while I was in the tub. So, like I said, I'm going to make these how to stretch meals. I'm going to make a how to stretch a whole chicken and how to stretch a turkey. And then here I had my different things for, obviously, next week on Thursday, I'm going to take out the turkey so that it'll be thawed for Saturday morning. When I get up on Saturday, I'm going to shove it in the oven and cook it, and hopefully it'll be ready by lunchtime, because I like to have big meals like that earlier, like for lunch instead of supper. It's just easier to digest, and we're not up sick through the night. Obviously, I'll make like a turkey dinner with the potatoes, the carrots, and the gravy, and I might make a stuffing to go with it. I'm not going to overdo it with the potatoes and the carrots and all that. I'm going to try to just make enough to have for that meal, because like we could have it for the next day, the same type of thing, but there's so many other options of how to use up the turkey that I don't really want to have all that stuff in the fridge just like left over. So I'll just make a couple. I'm not a big potato eater anyways, so I'll just make up enough that we can have for that meal for supper, and there might be a tiny little bit of leftovers, but it's not going to be crazy like, when we have our a big Thanksgiving dinner or anything like that. Uh, from that turkey, I plan to make some hot turkey sandwiches, some turkey fried rice. I like using the dark meat for the turkey fried rice. It just tastes really good. Um, Obviously, with all the scraps, I can make broth, but I'm kind of out of containers, so I'll probably just put that in the freezer. I have another turkey carcass in there that one day when I have enough containers, I may have to buy some. Uh, I'll just take a day and fill my freezers up with turkey broth. I seen a recipe for turkey croquettes. They looked awesome, so I'm going to try some of those. And then off just your basic turkey and mustard sandwich or mayonnaise. It's really, really good. And then one night I might do some like cold turkey with salad, just kind of like cold food. So that is my plans with the turkey. I may be able to make more. I may not be able to make this much. I'm pretty sure I can make that much because we don't eat that much turkey. And the turkey that I do have is pretty big. So when I do this, I will do a separate video. I'll tell you guys how much I paid for the turkey and roughly how much it breaks down to per meal, I guess. So, but that'll be a whole different video. But I have a hunch that when we're done this, we'll be sick of turkey that week. And if there's any left, I will shove the turkey in the freezer. Depends. Like I said, I can't plan it out exactly how it's gonna go. This is my plan. This roughly what we'll be able to do with it for sure. Like I said, there might be some left over, there might not be. But either way, I'm confident that we can make those meals with the turkey. So that is my little, I don't know, meals that I can make, I guess, with all the stuff that I have in the freezer. I'm going to go ahead and probably make up a menu plan for the next 3 weeks. We already are through week 1. Well, tomorrow will be exactly a week since I started this no spend challenge. Where tomorrow's Wednesday already, so it's just a matter of planning. So I'm gonna go ahead and probably plan out what days I want to eat what, and if it happens that day I ain't feeling what I wrote down, then I'll swap it with something else. But I have at least 2 months worth of meals here, but we're gonna switch it up a bit, but I really want to plow through some of these meals, and especially the ones that I already have cooked in the freezer here, like the chili. That's not a big deal if we don't eat all 3 of them this month. I just made it I think the middle of September or October. I think I'm not even sure. No, we're November. Oh my God, we're November already. I think I made it the end of September. Can't be that long. I don't know. Anyways, I have the date written somewhere of when I made those, but for sure I can pull at least one of these meals one night when we come home, and we're pressed for time. I could take this out in the morning, just heat it up in the microwave for 'em, bam, that'll be ready. The meals with the spaghetti sauce, I can make macaroni or something one night. And then we've got the spaghetti and meatballs, so I could make that another night. And I don't want to have too much Italian stuff in the same week and get sick of it all. But yeah, I know if I pull out a bag of chili, and I usually eat my chili over rice. Sometimes I eat it by itself, but the bags are big enough that we can each have a little bowl, and there'll probably be some left over. So I want to eat up the tortellini for sure, because that's been in the freezer for quite a while. That's something that's just kind of hanging around there. I had bought, they were you got 2 packs of them stuck together for $5. And like I said, it's been in my freezer forever. I just want to get that out of there. What else has been in here for a while? That's pretty much it. I just got my salmon not that long ago. The rest of the stuff we pretty well plow through. I just got the beef burgers. So maybe once a week we'll have burgers or something, and something like that. So, and then like I said, the small shepherd's pie. We had shepherd's pie not too long ago, so I'll probably wait closer to the end of the month to make that. But it'll be easy peasy. Just a matter of cooking up my hamburger, and the potatoes are already made. And that's another good thing about freezing your potatoes after they're cooked instead of just chucking them in the garbage. if you freeze them flat, then boom, they're ready for shepherd's pie, and they taste just as good. So no complaints on my end. So that is another look at the list. There's plenty of desserts. I don't have to worry about that. And then also what I didn't touch on was the vegetables. There's plenty of vegetables. Obviously, like when I make the shepherd's pie, I'll cross that out. This is going to be my list. I have a list on the side of the fridge, but this is obviously the more updated one. As I use something, like there was 8 salmon. I took one out for supper tonight, so I just put 7. Whenever I take the whole chicken out, I can just cross it off, and I'll have a better idea of what's in the freezer, because I like to freeze things like the chicken breasts, for instance, are all like my my chili. There was more than 3, obviously. I put all my chili in a plastic grocery bag. It's in the freezer, so if I open it and I see chili, I know that that's all chili in the bag. So anyways, I want to go plan my meals, and I just wanted to give you guys a little update how we're making out. And obviously tomorrow I will do a separate video on what we've spent so far and how things are going for the no spend challenge, but this was just something that I did today to kind of have a better idea of what was in my freezer and what we will be eating for the next month. Alright, thank you guys for watching, and have a great night.